There I am. I'm live. Awesome. So it's only 1:59. I just want to check the lighting because I'm using my ring light today, which it's been in a box for like a year. It was a $20 ring light. I'm not going to feel guilty because I never use it. It just doesn't look natural. When it's sunny outside, which it's not today, I have lots of natural sunlight through these windows, so I'd rather use that. It's better, right? It's just better. So anyway. All right, it's 2:00. Hello, Olivia. Thank you. Thank you, Olivia. So first things first, I did a thing. So yesterday I went to Aldi to go food shopping. By the way, if any of you have an Aldi near you and you've never shopped there and you're not really sure if you're going to like it, go. Not only do they sell cold brew, the secret to having iced coffee without actually having tepid coffee is to just buy cold brew from Aldi. It's very good, actually. Yeah, I did put enough ice in here today, Olivia, but this was chilled already. So it made everything, it's like I skipped a step. The ice did melt a little bit, but that's just because it's been sitting out. It's still fine. Anyway, went to Aldi yesterday to go food shopping. If you've never been there, or you may pronounce it Aldi, I think is how I've heard people pronounce it. Check it out. Aldi has great stuff. I mean, they just really do. You know, they're supposedly related to Trader Joe's somehow, so it's very Trader Joe's-ish. But anyway, I bought this. It was on clearance. And can you see down here? Those LED lights are already out. And it's only been out of the box for about 24 hours. But I did a thing. I see all these YouTubers that have stuff like this, and I don't know. I never do stuff like this. I also always forget to tell you guys to like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 blah. I forgot about the bell. There's a bell, right? I should ring the bell down here, but whatever. Anyway, so got that at Aldi yesterday. I'm using my ring light, and I've switched to cold brew. I feel so young. I feel like a 20-year-old. Talking shit on YouTube about boomers. Anyway, no, I'm not going to start that argument. But anyway, yes, I got that at Aldi. There it is. Big thank you to everybody. So let's talk about what happened this week. I did the McCalls patterns. I got to the very end, and I was not able to finish all of them. So the ones I didn't get to were the Stitch and Saves, which is by McCalls, but you guys know it's the cheaper kind of brand by McCalls. I didn't get to them. I had a rather weird week. Thankfully, I'm off tomorrow. Thursday, I started getting like hives on my thigh, and I'm like, and they were itchy, and I was like, what is this, right? And it turned into full-blown poison ivy, and then spread down a little bit on the same thigh. Okay. Now, how do you get on poison ivy on your thighs? Look, I'm not crapping in the woods or anything like that, but my dog likes to do that. He's a shy pooper. He likes to go in the woods where he thinks people can't see him. I think what happened was he got the oil from poison oak, because I don't know if it's poison oak or poison ivy, but it's one of those blistery, itchy things, right? And I think he got on the bed, which he does all the time. He sleeps on my bed. And I sat down on the bed to put my socks or my shoes or something on and got it on my thighs, because that would have been the area, right, that I would have been sitting on. Well, now it's spread. So this happened Thursday. Today's Sunday. I now have it on the backs of my knees, which is, oh my God, so irritating. And on the inside of my thighs and on the back of the other thigh, and it's like just spreading like crazy. And my neighbors gave me some anti-itch stuff, and I'm trying all these home remedies, which, by the way, I can say I found this home remedy online that I tried last night. It worked pretty well. You take equal parts, so I used a cup of each, Epsom salt and baking soda, and you put it in like kind of a lukewarm bathtub, and they tell you to sit in it for 15 minutes and immerse the area that has the poison ivy. And it got rid of some of the itch. I also took some Benadryl, But the problem with the Benadryl, as soon as I take it, I need a nap, right? It makes me tired. So took some Benadryl and I slept pretty well. And then I just was looking for more stuff online and I found another one. I just tried this little hack. And it was you take like a cotton swab, or I actually use those makeup remover pads, that are cotton, and apple cider vinegar. And you rub it on the exposed area. And that worked. I did it to the backs of my knees, and my knees right now are only slightly itchy, not as bad as they were. So just so you know, if you ever have poison ivy, those are a couple home remedies that I found. And I'm going to show you guys my dress. This is another one of my Walmart dresses. This one I am 100% sure is a beach cover-up just because of the way it's shaped, but I loved the print. So let me stand up so you guys can see. And again, it's kind of short, has pockets, right? Let me see how close I can get to you guys so you can see. See how pretty that print is? I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but I want to say this was $7, I think. Thank you. So you can see it, Olivia. Good to know. Oh, and my earrings. I love these earrings. These were made by a local woman on the island where I lived in Puerto Rico. And she since is gone because after the hurricane, she moved off the island and a lot of people didn't come back. I eventually moved off the island and didn't come back. So it happens. But so that is, I mean, wow. It's like I'm in the 21st century. I'm using a ring light. I have a thing back here with LEDs, and I'm showing you my clothing hauls. I feel like I'm 30. Anyway, so this week I worked on the McCalls. Like I said, I didn't get to finish the C&Sos, but I'm going to do them tomorrow. I have tomorrow off. Yeah, so let's get into it. So the first thing was I went through that haul that I had. In fact, we'll start with this one because this is the one I used in the community tab, right? And I used it because these poor babies they're so pink. I feel like they have rosacea or something. But I was looking through them and I noticed this pattern and I thought it was for a doll. But then I looked at it and realized it said infant. So I decided to go back and see if any of the other patterns in there, which I had mistaken as being dolls patterns, were actually children's patterns. And I found a couple. So here's one. This was in the community tab. And then I found this, right? We have to look at these. So this one was cut, but was in very good shape. In fact, if I remember correctly, yeah, the only thing that was cut was the shorts. But look how cute this is. That little thing, this, overall part is a completely separate thing. So you can take it off. It goes on with straps. So I thought that was really cute. And then I found a butterick pattern, which I already have this one. This one is cut. The one I have is partially cut. So this is going to go away for a little while. And here's the line drawings down there. It's going to go away for a little while until I hopefully sell the other one. But it's super cute. On this one, everything was cut except they never made the ruffle. So the only piece that wasn't cut was the ruffle. So that's not entirely partially cut. So I would sell that as a cut pattern. Because I have one that's partially cut, I'll sell that one first. But okay, so this one is getting an honorable mention only because, sorry about the glare. I mean, it's so fabulous. But it has like 1 million pieces. And when I started to catalog the pieces, there were several pieces missing, specifically ruffle pieces, which wouldn't be too hard to create. But rather than sell this as a wounded bird at this point, I'm going to wait. Because when I was going through this pattern and this pattern, I found pieces to patterns, including women's patterns, not even children's patterns, that were stuffed in these envelopes that didn't go to these patterns. So my thought process is somewhere in that box of what I thought were craft patterns and doll patterns, there may be more pieces for that dress. And it is so super cute. I want to say this is 1940s, maybe early 50s, but I'm really going with 40s on this one. So then we have are vintage. These are pretty fragile, but I'll take any of them that aren't too fragile. I'll take out of the plastic. So we have this pattern, which is, it's so serious. And I love, like, they're giving each other's mints. I'm thinking, like, you know, you got to go talk to that client. Here, have a mint. Like if your son is going to be the first, you know, the first kid that graduated from Yale School of Law at 14, this was his suit pattern. You know, I mean, I know kids wore suits to church and stuff, but it's kind of funny to think about children being so dressed up and in such like kind of a formal manner. This one, or formal manner, not matter. This is so cute, isn't it? These are from, by the way, that last one and these are all from Mrs. Landers and factory folded. She never used it. It is in here. Directions are in there. Never used the pattern. So cute, but she never used it. So I have these, by the way, in chronological order. I even did them in the other one by year, so we can see the progression of children's fashion. So this one's kind of fragile, but let's see. So cute. Yeah, this is going to be another one of those videos where it's like, how many times can she say so cute? See, it's falling apart a little bit over here. It's the only problem. And this is another one. See, still factory folded. She never used it. You know, I guess when you have 10 kids, right? You see a pattern. You think that's good for little Janie or little Susie, and you just buy it because one of your kids is going to wear it. When you have 10, somebody's going to wear it, right? Oh, and this one is too fragile for me to take out of the plastic, but I'll put it as close. This one, I believe, is 1940s also, maybe early 50s because of this font here. Unfortunately, these pattern companies didn't start putting dates on their patterns till, I don't know, much later. It seems like the 50s and 60s, late 50s, early 60s. So, okay, so that was 40s, 50s. We have some nice coffee. Let's get into the 60s. So here we go. The evolution of girls' fashion. The majority of these patterns, very few of them, the majority of these patterns are uncut, completely factory folded. There's a couple here and there. I'll try and remember which ones they were. Actually, this one here. This one you can see. Adorable, right? She only made the dress. So all of those fabulous cape pieces, because admit it, aside from clogs and twirly dresses, you wanted a cape. I know. I was there too. We wanted a cape. I don't know what it was, but I remember Mary Tyler Moore, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. My mom loved it. We used to watch it every week, right? And there is a scene in the beginning where she has a cape on. And as a kid, that's all I wanted out of life. I just wanted like the cape, right? I just wanted a cape, you know, and of course I never got one. I could make myself a cape now, really, but you know, there was this, oops, sorry, let me put this on the side. So this is later 60s. This is 67, I think. And you start to see a lot more of the girls' patterns have pants, which wasn't something you saw in kind of the older. I'm trying to make sure you guys can see the line drawings because sometimes they're down here, sometimes they're over here, sometimes they're upside down on the side. It's like, make up your mind. Oh, several of the patterns she bought that were unused, including this one, had smocking transfers. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So this is like a waxy style paper. See all those dots right there? You would iron this on top of the fabric and then you would hand smock this. And she had, I think it was 3 of them that had smocking detail, and she had never used the pattern. She had never used the smocking transfers. So that's pretty awesome that I get to sell them and say, you know, they include the smocking detail. Oh, here's another one. This was another one that also had the smocking detail. and has the transfers. In fact, if you look, it's a little harder to see on this one, but you see like the top on this one especially. And then we had stuff like this. Again, I think this one is 70. This one's 73. So you start to see like a lot of the girls' patterns also include pants. When previous to that, you really didn't see a lot of pants in any of the girls' patterns. And with the exception of a couple of them in here, you'll notice they're very distinctly boys' patterns, girls' patterns. There's not a lot of like unisex. Like this one was unisex, but in a way it's not really unisex because it's, I mean, technically it's got a little girl's bikini right there. This pattern was cut. The only thing they had made was the robe. All the pieces are in there in very good shape, as usual. It is the nice thing about her patterns is she took really good care of them, you know. The funny thing was I think it was this pattern, when I pulled it out, whoever that person was, there were ancient, and I mean rusted sewing needles folding the pattern seams up, like really bad. Hello, Gina. Yeah, exactly. You know what's funny, Gina? I'll just little short story time. My mom was a high school teacher, well, her whole life. And in the 1970s, her and some of the other teachers in the school where she worked, which was Atlantic City High School in Atlantic City, New Jersey, threatened the Board of Ed because they had a rule that female teachers could not wear slacks. Didn't matter how nice they were, didn't matter what the fabric was, nothing. And I'm not talking about jeans. I mean like nice trouser slacks. They were not allowed to wear them. At the same time, they also were making less than their male counterparts. You know, there's a lot of discussion. I see a lot of discussion online nowadays about everything about trans rights and feminism and how they interact and stuff like that. I think it's really important for people to study the history, you know, and trad wives and all this stuff, and everybody's fighting with each other. And, you know, I'm not going to get political, but here's the bottom line. Feminism wasn't born out of a bunch of women going, everything's great. Let's change it. No, there was a lot of crap. My mom didn't make as much as male counterparts that had the same education as her and the same amount of experience that were teaching the same classes. She wasn't allowed to wear slacks. And if you knew my mom, you would understand. I don't think I saw my mom in a pair of jeans until maybe the mid-90s. And even those were like elastic waist denim that pulled on, like they weren't jeans, you know. She wasn't rocking Jordache in the 80s, you know what I mean? My mom always looked really nice. She loved Liz Claiborne. She would go to this local department store and she would buy all this Liz Claiborne stuff that all coordinated and looked great together. My mom always looked really put together. I used to really help her with that. When I was in high school, I used to love to go shopping and help my mom pick stuff out. So, yeah. But, yeah, so this is when we see the rise of slacks. And, yes, women were wearing slacks, and so were little girls. This is interesting. Here's something that you don't see every day, which is a hot pants jumpsuit. And this, I think, some of the teen patterns, now this is a size 8, some of the teen patterns, quite honestly, if you were a petite woman, you could wear them. Because when you look at the finished garment sizes, they're almost like what we would call like a size 4 nowadays. Like if you're petite and you're thin, you could definitely wear these. This is so cute, by the way. I love this whole outfit here. Just so up my alley. And yes, I would have worn it with clogs because, in fact, is she wearing clogs? Do we think those are clogs? They might. I can't tell if they're clogs or if there are those red leather Mary Janes that half of us had to wear when we were kids. Yeah, remember those? They were not fun. All right. And Gina, you hit the head on the nail on the head, because here is the girl's pantsuit. This is kind of cute too. I like this with the detail in here. Oh, and it wouldn't be one of my little episodes without some cottage core. And here we go. There it is. A little bit of cottage core. got a very Laura Ashley vibe, but it's also kind of Western. I'm very on the fence about whether this should go under the Western wear. You'll see later I have stuff that is actually Western wear. A couple patterns that are really Western wear. Then there's this too. See, here we go again with these like prairie dresses, pioneer dresses, rocking the bonnet. Yep. You're not hardcore cottagecore unless you've rocked a bonnet at some point in time. So these are all 70s and 60s McCalls, and you notice this line, right? So then we have, and this is weird, these are late 70s McCalls. All right, so let's look at them. They got rid of a line and they kind of changed the font. And this is super cute. It's for the shirt. It is really, it's another like a peasant-y kind of smocked top type thing. And they changed the line. This is 79. This one, which is also super cute. And I think, I can't remember if this one has transfers. Hold on. This might have. It does. Transfers, right? These are different though. This is a tissue transfer that's also a blue dye, and you do iron it, but it's not the same. The ones that are used in the smocking outfits is an actual wax. You can feel it. It feels like wax paper, and the little, I don't know what to call them, doodads that are the guide are actually wax. This is just the blue dye, and when you iron it, the heat activates it and it transfers. So okay. So 77, 77, 79, and then McCalls completely changed directions. This is also 79. Very cute. This one's a wounded bird. The only thing that's still in there is the shirt pattern, which is kind of sad, but it's a cute little shirt. It's a stretch knit pattern for the shirt only, so I'm going to sell it as a wounded bird, a stretch knit. Also 79, right? By the way, I'm pretty sure I had this in high school with my clogs. With my clogs. I actually did. Okay. Let's set the Wayback Machine. Raise your hand if you had the plaid shirts with the little ribbon tie that had some kind of metallic going through the plaid. Like I remember having one that I think was kind of this color. It was like burgundy and navy. And then it had like a gold piece of metallic thread going through the plaid here and there. And then had like a little thing that tied that was navy and a white collar. And that was one of my favorite shirts. All right. So McCall's font, 1980, right? McCall's font, Gap pattern, no less, right? Another Gap pattern. It's like revenge of the Gap patterns. I have so many of these, right? Okay, so here's where it gets weird. 1983. Like McCall's completely changed its font, changed everything about its whole packaging looks different. So, and by the way, all the rest of these are also in chronological order. So we can see the evolution of children's styles from the 1980s through the end of the 1990s. The youngest pattern is the very last one, and it's 1999. So, okay though, but super cute, right? Really, really cute. Oh, and did I show you the back of this one? There we go. There's the back of that one. This one. Oh, this one's so cute. Absolutely adorable. And it includes the hat. Yeah, there's the hat on the bottom. You can see where they have the directions for the hat. And there's this one. A lot of the patterns have some rust on them. And actually, I haven't put any of these up yet because I want them to spend some more time outside in the sun. Unfortunately, today it's raining. They smell not, I don't want to say worse than the Simplicities, but they smell different. And I happen to know that there was a cabinet that was Berta and McCall's. And when I got there to pick up the cabinets, he told me when he tried to lift it, to move it, the entire bottom, like it just fell apart. And it had been very rusty. These they do have that musty kind of basementy smell, but they have like another smell. And the only thing I can think of is if you've ever had, like back in the day, I used to recycle newspapers. Remember newspapers? I know. Can we all say like a silent prayer for newspapers? I used to get the newspaper on Sunday when I lived in Philly, and you would stack them up and you recycle them, right? And if they got wet, they got this weird odor to them. That's what that reminds me of. And I'm thinking that they didn't necessarily maybe get wet, but maybe the cabinet got wet, and they smell a little funkier. So this is so cute, isn't it? And I don't know who Nanette is, but I think I have another pattern by Nanette. So I want to give them a little more time outside, and then a little more time in the plastic box where I have the baking soda and all the stuff that I use to kind of, get rid of that smell. Super cute, unisex kind of, but not entirely. I noticed a lot of these patterns are very mixed. Like absolutely a little boy could wear this, but you probably wouldn't put your little boy in this shirt, so there's definitely some division. This one's so cute. One of these, in fact, it might be this one. Is it this one? No. One of these has this really weird thing that I'm going to show you guys, which I thought was very interesting. I thought this is so cute. I'm really sure I have this in an adult woman's pattern also, like 99.9% sure. Here's another pattern company that I don't remember ever hearing about. It's Kitty. Is it Kitty Benton? Benton. Kitty Benton. This one also has smocking transfers in here. And this is the one. Okay, so I'm looking at this pattern, and there's, by the way, no line drawings. So I'm looking at this pattern. One of the things I always do is I always check the directions. I take the directions out. I make sure all the pages of the directions are here, and I separate them if they're together so that, I know that they're there. So I get to the back of these directions. Can you see that? It's hard to see, but this is not like damage caused by storage or anything or age with this pattern. This is a printing error. You can actually see the lines, like the lines that should have been printing that didn't print. And it's both of these sets. It's both pages of the directions, but only the back page. So I'm going to have to unfortunately sell this as a wounded bird, which is sad because it's a super cute pattern. And this is the kind of stuff that actually boys could wear today, and it wouldn't be so weird. It wouldn't look so vintagey, Another super cute pattern. Little girl's pattern. I love the overalls. They're like backless. They're so cute. A lot of these like romper type things. In fact, here's another one. Another very similar kind of romper patterns with, I just realized, look, these are the giant collards. So you have different collars you can make for these garments. And this poor pattern, I don't know what happened to the top, but somebody ripped the tab off, and they had actually cut this. And it's really strange what they did. They cut the pants, and they cut them down to short size. They left the piece they cut off from the pants in there, but the actual shorts pattern is missing. So there's no pants pattern in here. So it's only the shirts, but it includes that baseball cap. And I was thinking, actually that's, of all of the stuff here, like these are just pull-on pants. You can make these, you probably draft your own pattern really. But to have the pieces to make a baseball cap, and there's no line drawing, sorry. We know how McCalls are with the line drawing. They're very stingy with the line drawings. But a pattern to make a baseball cap, like cool, right? Febreze makes a spray that really, it's interesting that you say that. I have like Febreze pellets that are supposed to go in your washing machine, and I put them in the baking soda. So all of these very faintly smell like that Febreze smell, but it's not overbearing. I hate the idea of really perfuming things. And even though Febreze doesn't really have a scent, I'd rather, I don't know, could it like hurt the pattern? I don't know. So I do cross my fingers. By the way, this is a Lands of Salzburg unisex pajamas and nightgowns. Again, no line drawings, stingy with the line drawings. I like to try and, just kind of leave the patterns be as much as they are, because a lot of them are really fragile. But the other thing is I am really nervous about someone contacting me and saying, hey, my pattern smells horrible, So, all right. So here we go. Here's our Western pattern. So Western. I'm thinking that this family, that her family was somehow involved in like horse shows, because that's the only reason you would have this many patterns, is if your kids were doing barrel racing or doing like rodeo type stuff or horse shows, and they were showing, Western style. Oh, here's another one I've never heard of. This is Counter Change by Anne Holloway Designs. Okay. So this pattern was weird. I'm going to try and show it to you. Can you see all these lines? These are pleat lines. I don't know if you guys can see that. Those are all pleat lines. So her pattern is full of all these pleat lines on the bodices of these dresses to create that look. There's no transfer in here. You do it all off the tissue of the pattern. So, I mean, it's interesting, but that's a lot of work to do all those pleats. And it's her own method, apparently. She has all these directions in there that show you how to do it. Oh, I'm sorry. Again, no line drawings. All right. Oh, this was so cute. So cute. And you can tell we're starting to get into the later part of the 90s, because we have this again. Remember last week we had a couple of these, the like baby doll dress over the leggings, but so cute. This has some line drawings, which is nice. Just really cute. And then there we go. This, I think, was 98. So we're starting to really get into these. It's funny. These look more like modern McCalls patterns, This was cute. And again, with the kind of baby doll dress over the leggings or over the stockings. And this super cute thing, just a little girl's wardrober. And look, it has a vest because it's the 90s. And everything had to have a damn vest with it. I don't know what it was. I'm trying to remember if I had any. I did have a vest. Oh, I did have a vest in the 90s. And it was floral brocade. But the back of it was lace. Oh, God. I'm kind of a little embarrassed that I forgot all about that vest. I'm trying to think if that's the only one I had. It probably wasn't the only one I had. But yeah, anyway, we're not going to talk about it. We're just not going to talk about it. So this is 1999. This is our youngest pattern, and it's just for the pants. So, just pull on unisex pants. So let's take a look at the patterns I did not get to. So these See and Sews, these were all from the 90s. I think all of them are like 95 on, so they're younger patterns also. But here's one right here. Just this kind of girl's romper thing. Oh, sorry about that glare. These, I'm telling you, that this shiny paper holds that basementy kind of odor so much longer than regular paper. There we go. Sorry. That was another thing. That was another reason I didn't like to use the ring light. It creates all this glare because you're supposed to put the ring light like on the side or coming at you or whatever. So fleece, lots of fleece. And look, a girl's pattern with a vest. So yeah, it's both pieces. Let's see. Oh, there's no line drawings on this one, but it's all the pieces. 2 styles of vest with pants and a mini skirt. And this was super cute. I actually thought this was really cute. I like the way this buttons down in the front there. And it's just shorts and shirts, summer shorts and shirts. Very cute. And then same for the boys. This is just pull on shorts and then the t-shirt or the tank. There's the line drawings. So, all right. So I, because I'm in the midst of a crisis with the with the poison ivy. I think I'm going to kind of take next week off. And what I mean by that is that I need a break from kids' patterns. So I'm just going to have these sit outside when it's not raining and get some more air before I put them up online and do stuff like that. Now, this week, while I was doing all this, I moved the Stitch and Save, the women's Stitch and Save patterns out to this table. The See and Sew are in boxes. They've been going outside and getting aired out, trying to get some of the smell out of them, like these, because these smell more basementy, right? So I've been airing them out in here. They've been sitting in this window, which gets a lot of sun during the day, and just basically being aired out. And because I was able to do that, I was able to start pulling from the boxes of the cut patterns. And I found a couple of really amazing vintage patterns that were cut, and I felt like they needed attention because I felt like they, you had vest in the 90s too, Olivia? I know, raise your hand if you had a vest, right? Anyway, I was able to pull these very vintage patterns. One of them looks 1940s, and I really want to give them some attention because I feel like being in the boxes, even though I have the fan going in that room all the time, I have one of those, I don't know what they're called, those things you put out and they have the crystals in them and they absorb moisture from the air. I have one of those in the bathroom, trying to keep these all nice and dry. But I feel like they need attention. And so I'm going to work on some of those that I really think need attention this week. So next week on Sunday, I'll show you what I worked on. It's going to be a hodgepodge. I'm sure it'll be all vintage, but it'll be a hodgepodge. I also found when I was in there, I was just going through patterns and I'm pulling them out. I pulled out this one pattern. I'm like, what's in this pattern? And I opened it up and there was a set of buttons. So I've decided to save the buttons for next week because they're pretty beautiful. They're really gorgeous lavender color. Wait till you guys see them. And then another pattern that I pulled out, I looked at it really quick because it looked folded and I pulled it out and it was still factory folded. I must have thought, because it was thin, it's for a halter top, so it's very thin. I must have thought that it was cut and I put it in with the cut patterns. Well, here it wasn't cut. So I'll do that one too. I'll be going to Goodwill on Tuesday. So anything I pick up at Goodwill, we'll talk about. I'll show you those patterns again that I got this week from Goodwill for the bags. This was stuff I was going to do this week and I decided I'll just do it next week, but I'm going to kind of take it easy this week because I am, basically just an itch machine at this point in time with the poison ivy. And, I'm not going to want to stand for long periods of time going through patterns, ironing patterns, if my legs are like driving me crazy, itching. The back of the knees is the worst. But I must say, I'm noticing as I'm sitting here, because I did that thing with the apple cider vinegar, it's not as bad as it could have been. So yeah, so friendly little tip. So until next week, I hope wherever you are, your summer weather's a little bit better. Ours is rainy and super hot. Like it's a horrible combination. But it's awful outside. It's like 92 degrees or something, but it's pouring rain right now. It's really horrible. Thank you, Olivia. I'm sure I feel better. I mean, it's not the end of the world. Remember, the woman who's complaining about poison ivy, me, last year had cancer and had all my girl parts removed, right? I had bottom surgery. No, I shouldn't say that's not a good joke, but I had my insides basically all taken out, right? And barely complained about that. But you cannot make the back of my knees itch because that's just too much for me to handle, right? So anyway, until next week, I hope the weather where you guys are is better and a little more summery than it is here. And please like, subscribe, and comment because I love to read your comments. And until next week, thank you so much for coming by, and I will see you next Sunday at 2 p.m. Bye.